You know what I'm saying? But I'm standing with a king right here. You know what I'm saying? This is. Are we hot right now, Maya? Are we cooking? I'm just gonna sit right here just cause. I've been following your journey for some time, right? First of all, introduce yourself to the people so they can know who we sitting with, okay? If you don't mind.
Salute, salute. Yes, I am Chief Minister Omar Hardy. I'm Chief of Community Interest Logistics, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. You know, for anybody that's familiar with Brooklyn, the history of Brooklyn, you should know about the Slave Theater, right? You should know about the Black Lady Theater. You know, I'm the heir apparent of Judge John L. Phillips Jr., and of course, I'm the heir of my father, Clarence Jr., 2X Hardy Shabazz.
I appreciate
and I got a
that.
legacy to fulfill.
No doubt, being the man out here. Now, like I was saying, I've been following the journey for some time, for some years actually, and I just never knew what the this whole state theater thing was, and I did my homework a little bit, and I got some understanding, like you said, of the lineage and ownership, and I felt this is important, especially for people in our community.
Yes, sir.
You know, just to give you a little brief history myself, I'm a transplant here. I like to call anybody that was, by the way, anybody that came to New York before 9/11, you know what I'm saying, you got to give us, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? We've been around a little while. So when I first came to New York City in 2001, coming from the South, I'm born in Alabama.
2001, okay.
Yeah, before, man, I've been here a little while. So I remember, you know, being on the Red Bird train with no AC and all that. Come on, baby.
Yes.
You know what I mean, with the coin and token. But yeah, so growing up in the South, ownership was always preached to us in our way. It was own you some land, on that land, build you a home or a homestead, and take care of your family if you can.
Yes, sir.
When I came to New York City, I learned that it was different when it comes to ownership and leasing and renting.
Yeah.
So I want to get some clarity for people like me who may not be as educated, and also for the people out there who may be viewing this, how important it is to, especially nowadays, as you see Brooklyn is changing,
Tremendous.
ownership, leasing, and deeds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like you said, ownership is everything. You know what I mean? You want to control your environment. You know what I mean? Because if you don't control the land, then essentially anybody can remove you at any time or attempt to remove you at any time.
Right.
You know? And when you own your land, when you own your property, you are, you know, you can do what you want. You're a creator. It's a true definition of power. You see what I'm saying? You could grow your own food. You can build. You know what I mean? You are the landlord. You know what I mean? And it's like the trajectory and what's happening now, it's like trying to get everybody, you know, like essentially what we're dealing with is like psychological warfare. You know what I mean?
Explain that a little more. What do you mean by that?
Like trying to get, you know, try to get the majority of people to, you know, forget about ownership. You know, how you was taught, how we were taught. You know what I mean? And, you know, rent. You know, have somebody else in control. You know what I mean? It's psychological warfare as far as trying to get people under the a mental slavery that you need somebody over you, that you got to answer to somebody, right? You know, try to take us out of that position of power, you know, whether it's,
I have a question while you're gathering your thought, specifically about the State Theater. Give us the history on that, because from the beginning of me following your journey, you just been preaching, don't support the Clinton Hill. What was it? You know what I'm saying?
Crown Hill.
Yeah, the Crown. Yeah, the Crown Hill. Explain more. What is that all about?
Right.
No, I want to know.
Right. Nah, yes, sir. So you mentioned the Slave Theater, right? That's one institution.
Got it.
Right. Then you got the Black Lady Theater.
Got it. Okay.
That's another institution.
Two institutions there.
Yes. So you got Slave 1 Theater and you got Slave 2, the Black Lady Theater. You know,
located in Brooklyn?
Located in Brooklyn. The Slave Theater is located on Fulton Street between Bedford and Arlington Place, right?
Okay.
And then the Black Lady Theater is located on Nostrand Avenue between Sterling Place and Park Place.
Got it.
Right? So The slave theater is like, you know, is a little more, well, back in the day, it was a little more, people were a little more familiar with it because it was, you know, utilized as a platform a little more back in the day.
Okay.
But, you know, like what we did with the Black Lady Theater, we spiced it up a little bit.
Okay, you gave it that, give it that seasoning.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, definitely not taking anything away from what Judge Phillips did, what even before him, Arthur Miller, you know, what he did. But you could reverse engineer it. You know,
right.
We talk about the Crown Hill Theater. That I don't even like to say the name like that. You know,
so all right, so no, so we can make sure we can cut all this out. Honestly, you know what I'm saying?
You know, however you want to do
sure?
it. But it's a disease within the community.
I understand.
You know,
now, I want to speak to. I've seen you. Now you've been on the front lines for some time, like with so many people in the community that have really put their life, you know, towards making sure that we get ownership and true ownership. And I've seen, let's just call it what it is. We've seen Jewish people come up in people's homes, come to their buildings, trying to literally take their living
Not
quarters.
even trying to, taking it.
How is that happening? What is going on with that? I mean, we're seeing it up, we call it the hill. For people who don't know, I mean, we're in Brooklyn. When we stay up the hill, we know what we're talking about. But yeah, explain how do they have the gumption to even do that?
Listen, you know, these people, they've been taught tricknology. You see what I'm saying? And how they, you know, they're using unlawful, dehumanizing acts and, you know, taking people's property, right? You got Judge John L. Phillips. I got to speak about him because it starts with him as far as the founder of the premises.
Okay.
Right? And Judge Phillips, he's the founder.
Founder of the premises. That's a term that I'm not familiar with, and they may not be either. What does that mean? Founder of premises.
You know, when we speak about the name, the Slave Theater, the Black Lady Theater, Judge Phillips, you know, coined those terms.
Got it.
The Slave Theater. So we would never, us and anybody else, would never forget about the segment in history that we've been through. You know what I mean? When people hear the word slave, it does something. It hurts. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we are not slaves. We don't derive from slavery, right? We were enslaved, right? It's a segment in history that we've been through, you know, but the thing is to never forget that, you know? So Judge Phillips, he was a man of, you know, controversy, you know, put it in your face, you know, start the conversation, you know what I mean? So, like I said, so we don't forget about this, you know, it was a conversation starter. And the Black Lady Theater, you know, because, you know, all amazing creation comes from the melanated woman, comes from the black woman, you know what I mean? So paying homage to the black woman, you know.
That's fire.
Like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, me, like, why change that? You see what I'm saying? Like when I say that I got a legacy to fulfill, this is not just words, it's not cliche. You know what I mean? You know, the foundation that our ancestors put up for us is an amazing one, right? You got to know where you come from to know where you're going, right?
Where you come from?
Where I come from, I mean, I was born in New York, you know, born in, I mean, but I come from royalty. I derive from royalty, you know what I mean? My father taught me, you know, the black man is the owner, the maker, the cream of the planet Earth, the father of civilization and the God of the universe. You know what I mean? That's where I come from. You know what I mean? And growing up with that ideology, that knowledge being instilled in me, it did something. You know what I mean? I thought this was common knowledge growing up. You know what I mean? Like everybody know this. Like, okay, yeah. I ain't really even.
When you say King Nigel, what you say?
This King, no, this my brother right here.
Yo, King Nigel, what up, baby? You already know. I said, yeah, you already know. We're talking that talk. Go ahead.
I mean, my brother been supporting from long time, from day one.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's why we got him here for sure.
I mean, salute. It was definitely good to see. You know,
yeah.
The universe know what it be doing. I mean, nothing by coincidence.
Crazy,
you know?
isn't it? But yeah, like he was saying, royalty.
You know,
and owning that now. You know what I mean?
That. Yeah. You know what I mean? Living in that. You know what I mean? And it's a lot. You see what's happening out here? A lot of people don't really understand the power that we possess as a people. You know what I mean? And we need to make that, and a lot of people do, don't get me wrong, I ain't trying to take nothing away from nobody, you know, but, you know, we need, as a people, we need to tap into that more. You know what I mean? It's a...
Consider this. Everybody ain't gonna make it, bro.
Everybody can't
and
go.
Everybody ain't got it in them. Because I'm gonna ask you, where does your boldness come from? Because it takes a measure of that to stand on the street, to make your voice heard in the midst of chaos. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what reaction is gonna be outside. You know what I'm saying? These people are freaking off their minds, especially after COVID. And here you are, standing with the people, you know what I mean? Standing up for the people. Where does that intestinal fortitude come from?
Yo, my father used to say, thank God for God. You know, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's how I was bred. You know what I mean? Like what I grew up seeing, the experience, you know? My father told me like, yo, just keep going. You know, I'm proud of you. You know, like I said, I grew up with the teaching of the black man is the owner, the maker, the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, God of the universe. You know what I mean? And this was instilled. I mean, like this, that's everything. We are the creators. We are the solution. I mean, we can't go off, you know, expecting nobody else to save us, to come in, you know, do for us. It's, I mean, like, yo, what's happening here is amazing. I mean, thank you for the invite. I mean, you should have said that from the beginning. I mean,
man, God,
salute. Thanks for having me.
My G.
You know what I mean?
It's an honor. I'm just listening and getting educated. You hear what I'm saying? Because, like I said, it's not just for me. I thank you for taking the time out, number one, because time is precious. But it's important to get this knowledge out there because it's not taught. And no one really cares now. Like, think about it. Look at what's going on. Everybody wants to be entertained. Everybody needs relief. They want relief because of the stresses of the world, the traumas of the world. But these real world problems aren't going anywhere. The system is the issue. We still have to work within this system and figure out how to break it or maneuver through it. That's just mine. What do you think?
I wouldn't say like necessarily.
Did I go too far? Like Nora said, did I go too far?
We here. Right. I think it's about, you know, like it's a system there, but it's about, you know, we don't necessarily have to operate within the system.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's about us creating our own system and interfacing accordingly.
Ooh, you said something right there, bro, because some people would say integration is the issue from the jump. You know, that's the problem. One of the reasons, you know, a lot of our great leaders preach integration, you know, at one point, you know, coming together as one. And some of our great leaders said, you see what happens when we integrate.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't necessarily have to operate within the system. You see, on Martin Luther King way out, he said, damn, I think I brought my people into a burning building. Know what I mean? Like, yo, we are the creators. I mean, it's like a huge marketing scheme to get us away from that. You know what I mean?
In America, for sure.
In America, for sure. You know what I mean? To try to, you know, get us to operate within their system so they can ping pong us however they want. You know what I mean? That's why they're trying to get us to, you know what I mean, not think about ownership, not think about control. You see what I'm saying? Because if somebody else is feeding us our food, you know what I mean, owning the spaces that we live in, I mean, how much power do we really have? You know what I mean? When you talk about the slave theater, they knocked this building down unlawfully. You know what I mean? You're talking about over 200,000 buildable square footage that they got, that they, you know what I mean? They built on unlawfully on our land right now, which we are coming to collect. I mean, we have not given up, we have not given in. You see what I'm saying? But it's about us structuring our system, you know what I mean? So we can interface accordingly. Do what we need to do to get what's rightfully ours.